Fighting the Factory, the Arts and Crafts Movement. Plain functional furniture, simple woven rugs, decorative handmade wall hangings, inspired by nature, handmade jewelry. These were just some of the objects produced and purchased by those who supported the arts and crafts movement, a back to basic style that first emerged in Britain during the latter half of the 19th century. The arts and crafts movement was about much more than just eye catching objects inspired by the simple country life. It was based on ideals and fueled by the dissatisfaction of many of Britain's citizens. A dresser executed in the arts and crafts style was suddenly no longer just a dresser. It was a symbol of the beliefs of both the maker and the buyer. The arts and crafts movement, understanding the times. Looking at the historical context of the arts and crafts movement is vital to understanding its deeper meaning. At the time, Britain was becoming very industrialized. Many people moved from small rural communities to large cities. In these urban areas, factory work was a way of life. The practice of mass production was catching on. As a result, there was a dramatic shift in how many objects were produced. A description of furniture making before and after industrialization provides a good illustration of the extent of the change. Before industrialization, craftspeople spent years perfecting their technique. They knew how to create a certain object from start to finish. They would gather the wood or other materials they needed. They would use tools to cut and shape these materials into individual pieces, and then assemble them. Finally, they would add any finishing touches. This might involve applying wood stain or adding some decorative metal accents. The final result was a truly one-of-a-kind creation of the highest quality. As Britain became more industrialized, furniture was often made in factories using a principle called division of labor. Each worker would be responsible for a tiny part of the production process. One person might just screw on legs or only apply paint. They did this hour after hour, day after day. Little skill was needed. Many virtually identical pieces were produced very quickly. The philosophy behind arts and crafts. Those who helped found the arts and crafts movement also developed its underlying philosophy. Ideas behind the movement included the notion that craftspeople should get a deep satisfaction and pleasure from their work. This could not be achieved by dividing the production process into small tasks to be performed separately by many individuals. Rather, it required a master craftsperson who had honed the skill and talent needed to be personally invested in and responsible for the final product. Some, but by no means all, supporters of this movement were also against the use of any machinery during the production process. The hallmarks of arts and crafts design. The arts and crafts movement did not have a set of rigid rules. However, pieces produced in this style did share some basic characteristics. They were made using traditional techniques developed by craftspeople in their workshops in the country. Using materials in their natural form was also an important aspect of the arts and crafts movement. For instance, the wood used to make a dresser might be stained to embellish its grain, but it would likely not be completely covered with paint. Simple shapes were used in the creation of pieces, and designs were often inspired by plants, flowers, and other objects found in nature. Overall, designs could be accurately described as simple and plain, but this also gave arts and crafts works their rustic charm. The legacy of the arts and crafts movement. The principles of Britain's arts and crafts movement played a part in the development of similar styles and movements in other parts of Europe and the United States. Clearly, though, the arts and crafts movement did not succeed in halting the trend toward mass production, either in Europe or elsewhere. Walk into any furniture store today and you will see shelves containing dozens of identical lamps and vases, as well as tables put together piece by piece, screw by screw, on factory assembly lines. As a final note, it's important to keep in mind that the goods currently sold by large department stores and national chains don't tell the entire story. There are many exhibitions, shows, and local markets where the spirit of the arts and crafts movement is alive and well. Craftspeople and artists can still be found selling pottery, jewelry, and other decorative objects made the old-fashioned way. As long as there are talented and dedicated people out there willing to part with their unique, high-quality handmade creations, the legacy of the arts and crafts movement will live on.